Welcome. Good morning. This is the Salt Lake Center for Spiritual Living. I'm so glad you joined us. We do miss you. We're in very small numbers here, just a bunch of helpers around to put on this service for you. We can't wait to see you and connect with you. Please know that you can always do that through the online technologies we have. If there's anything you want or need, even if it's just a virtual hug, I hope you reach out. It's a beautiful day. It's a great day to be here. I'm glad you're joining us. We have some marvelous special music. Will Baxter and Mary Tebbs in the house. We got a little mini concert, the six of us here before the service started. You're in for a treat. And the amazing Rob Eckman, his baritone voice and warm soul. I can't wait to hear what he has to say today. We're going to open with a song. I invite you to sing along, Change for the Better. 2, 3.
Yeah! Life is always changing. I know change will do me good. Life is always changing. I know change will do me good. When I stay in one place too long, I welcome change for the better. When something just feels wrong, I welcome change for the better. Nature's blooming round us always, change for the better. And I know change will do me good. Yes, I know I change for the better. Yes, I know change, it's all good. Life is always changing. I know change will do me good. Life is always changing. I know change will do me good. When I stay in one place too long, I welcome change for the better. When something just feels wrong, I welcome change for the better. Nature's moving around us always, change for the better. I know change will do me good. Yes, I know I change for the better. Yes, I know change, it's all good.
Thank you.
Good morning and happy Memorial Day weekend to all of you who are love streaming our services here at the Salt Lake Center for Spiritual Living. We are so very grateful to have you with us. My name is Linda Brewer, and we are a spiritual community where all are welcome. At this point, unfortunately, you're welcome only to join us remotely, and we will be so glad when you can come back and be with us here in person. Our practitioner holding high watch from home this morning is Teresa Martin. Throughout the service, she will be in prayer, knowing that the best and highest is unfolding as we share this sacred time together. And I will be your prayer practitioner this morning. Our center is a spiritual community that teaches a philosophy for daily living based on spiritual principles and practices that are universal among religions. We honor every pathway by which people seek to know and connect with the divine, and we work on our individual consciousness so that we can help make the world a better place. Wherever you are, I invite you to join with me in saying out loud with feeling our purpose statement. We are an open, welcoming community, celebrating our divinity, loving our humanity, and nurturing our journeys of spiritual discovery. Thank you. Please don't forget that for all the latest information and inspiration, you can visit our website at www.spirituallyfree.org. You can even find local COVID-19 information there and connect with us in many ways, prayer requests, sending us information, all kinds of things right there. Our theme for this month is Listen to Your Heart, and as Rick said, Rob Eckman will be our speaker this morning. His talk is entitled The Path Made Clear. Next week, we are pleased to welcome back as our speaker, Shemaine Charette. Yay. We want to really encourage all of you to sign up for our weekly email newsletter if you haven't done that, and regularly visit the announcements page on the website. Anything that's happening, we put it up there right away. Information from our center, information from our home office, which is sending us so many great resources at this time. Things to do and prayer meetings and talks and all kinds of things. And also updates from our community leaders about the current situation and resources that are available to deal with the virus here in our area. You may have noticed in our newsletter that our donations have dropped significantly in the last month. We do recognize that many people are struggling financially during this time, but this would be a really great time for all of you to remember there is one way to contribute to the center that does not cost you anything. If you are an Amazon shopper, if you will sign up for Amazon Smile, it doesn't cost anything. And then be sure every time you shop to log in through Amazon Smile instead of your former Amazon login. A very small portion of your sales will be donated to our center. However, if we all do that, it will add up. So if we would really be grateful if you would take time to do that this week, if you're watching us, as a way to support us that doesn't cost you anything. And if you can, I want you to consider one of the things I thought, I could tithe on my $1,200 the government sent me. So if any of you feel like you want to join on that, please do. Thank you. So we do have a committee that's working on a plan for how we might safely reopen, not with services as they once were, but with all the social distancing precautions in place. We'll keep you posted about when we feel it is the right time to do that. In the meantime, we're also looking at other ways that we might connect together in a way that's more interactive than just watching the service. So please stay tuned. If you have suggestions, please submit those to us through our email, which is on the website. And remember to keep checking the website and reading the newsletter. We have more great Cozy Couch concerts from home office coming up every Friday, Saturday, Sunday night. Next Friday night is Janice Stanfield, Saturday night is Amy Bishop, and tonight's concert is from Jan Garrett and J.D. Martin. Here's a little clip of that.
Red Rock Canyon loves the light, tune up opinion sunrise. The sweet earth still damp from last night's rain. The smell of the sage is a simple prayer, rising up in the morning air, saying welcome home again. And oh, what a wonder, I cannot begin to say, such unspeakable beauty calling my name. We go on like a beautiful song, we were carried on great winds across the sky. We go on, we go sailing free, we come shining through, we go on.
So that's 7 o'clock tonight, and you can find the information on our website. So in these challenging times, it is especially important to remember that our center is a community that is founded on and grounded in prayer, and that we have professional prayer practitioners who are always in prayer for you. They would like to know more specifically, while we're all praying for all of the community during this time, we'd really love to know if there's something particular that we can support you with this week. So if you would, you can send us a prayer request on the website, and if you do, all of the practitioners will be praying with you. And if you'd like one of us to give you a call and pray with you, we'd love to do that too. Just say that in your request. So right now I want you to allow yourself to settle in. Close your eyes at home, even if you're comfortable. Allow the reading and the centering music to open your heart and prepare you to connect to that sacred space within, and then I will speak my word in prayer. Our reading for today is from the writings of Barbara DeAngelis. It's about the clear path of everyday spirituality. Once, long ago, the peoples of the earth knew the truth of oneness, that matter is just the joyful song of spirit, that humans are just the playful dance of the divine, that the earth, the animals, the wind, the sun, and the stars are all brothers and sisters, sharing one heart that beats in a cosmic rhythm. And their knowledge of oneness blessed the days of their lives, for it made everything they experienced sacred. But over time, the truth was forgotten, and the way of separation was born. The search for real moments and everyday spirituality must begin with a return to the way of oneness. Everyday spirituality is not an escape from your usual life in search of something special, some exalted experience, but it's a surrender into the fullness of every experience. It is not a path that leads you away from the human to the spiritual, from the earth to heaven, but rather one that leads you back into the ordinary and everyday and invites you to find the spiritual therein. It begins and ends where you already are, right here, right now. There's nothing else to look for, nothing else to acquire. You already have everything you need when you allow yourself to see the oneness.
My heart is open, love moves through me. My heart is open, peace moves through me. God is the stillness deep in my mind. God is the love that beats my heart. My heart is open, love moves through me. My mind is open, peace moves through me. God is the stillness deep in my mind. God is the love that beats my heart. God is the stillness deep in my mind. God is the love that beats my heart.
And as we enter into that silence, that sacred stillness that lives within each one of us, that is always available when we allow ourselves to get quiet and pay attention. And today, as we enter that stillness, on this Memorial Day weekend, I give thanks for all of those who we honor this weekend, all of those who gave their lives in service of our country. We thank them for their sacrifice. We thank their families for their sacrifice. And today, I ask that we join together in knowing that peace is the way. May we all learn to live in love so that war is no longer needed. I'm grateful today, too, for all of those who have sacrificed themselves in this pandemic that we're facing. My heart goes out to all of the families who have lost loved ones and weren't able to be at their side. I'm so grateful for the medical staff that has gone so far above and beyond. For all those other people, the clerks in the grocery stores, the bus drivers, the delivery people, those working in restaurant kitchens when they're unable to actually see the joy on the faces of those they have fed, and yet they have persevered. And oh, so many others far too numerous to name. Today I am knowing healing for the whole world. I'm knowing wisdom for the scientists who are looking for a cure. And let's all know together that it's coming quickly. May we all love each other enough to do what we need to do to keep each other safe during this time. And I look forward with joy to the day that we come back together and just hug the living daylights out of each other. And so in gratitude that prayer is answered, I release my words into the law, knowing they are done, as together we say, and so it is.
Before I invite you to sing with us again, I wanted to give some kudos to our very dear Rob Marker, who put up the graphics and is in charge of the PowerPoint for these services. This is an awesome artistic ability he's infused. I didn't even know he had that. He's just done some wonderful things. So thank you, Rob. I invite you to sing along with this wonderful song by Leslie Monroe. What does love say to me right now?
And Rick Charette.
2, 3, 4. Sing along.
What does love say to me now? What does love say to me now? What does love say to me now? Love says, hear me. Love says, hear me. What does love say to me now? What does love say to me now? What does love say to me now? Love says, be still. Love says, be still. Love is the song of my life, and I will sing forever. Love is the song of my life, and I will sing forever. say to me now? What does love say to me now? What does love say to me now? Love says, be kind. Love says, be kind. What does love say to me now? What does love say to me now? What does love say to me now? Love says we're one. Love says we're one. Love is the song of my life, and I will sing forever. Love is the song of my life, and I will sing forever. I will sing forever. I will sing forever. Love says, hold on. Love says, just breathe. Love says, let go. Love says, hear me. Love says, be still. Love says, be kind. Love says, we're one. Love says, we're one.
Yes. Have some beautiful special music today. Again, this duo just came together this year. Individual, fantastic musicians in their own right. Together, it's just an exponentially fantastic experience. Put yourself in a warm bubble bath, a glass of champagne and some chocolate, and that's what it's like. Let's welcome this marvelous duo, Will Baxter and Mary Tebbs.
Thanks for having us. And one of my favorite things that always happens whenever I play here is witnessing and hearing the creativity with which Rick introduces people. So it's always good. Have you ever felt like you want to run away, but there's nowhere to go? Not much to say. Have you ever been betrayed by your hollow heart? Feeling so alone, you start to fall apart, and I'm falling. I'm going down. I want to leave it all behind. I want to ease my troubled mind. I want to leave it all behind. I want to ease my troubled mind.
my troubled mind. I know it's quite taboo to tell the truth of this. I should show a happy face to cover up how it is, but that just makes it worse to think I have to hide. I need a tender heart to hold me close tonight, 'cause I'm falling and I'm going down, and I want to leave it all behind. I want to ease my troubled mind. I want to leave it all behind. I want to ease my troubled mind, my troubled mind. 'Cause I'm all cried out, please enough. I'm so tried out, and I could use some love. Yes, I could use some love. Cause I'm falling and I'm going down. Is this my calling? Is this my crown? I want to leave it all behind. I want to ease my troubled mind. I want to leave it all behind. I want to ease my troubled mind, my troubled mind. 'Cause I could use some love. Yes, I could use some love. We all could use some love. I could use your love.
Mary Tibbs, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm so grateful I get to do this, tell you about Rob. Rob Eckman is a native Utahn and has been a part of this spiritual community since 1997. He learned about religious science in 1989 in Huntington Beach, California, while managing a hotel that happened to be hosting a Gene Houston seminar at the time. He was educated at Utah State University in Logan with a degree in ornamental horticulture, which is really just a fancy name for garden designer. He spends most of his free time in his garden near downtown Salt Lake. He enjoys reading and hiking and anything to do with trains. I want to know more about that. He works as the marketing manager at the King's English bookshop in Salt Lake, where he is responsible for more than 500 literary events a year. He is married to Steve Matthews, and together they are dads to one very grown-up son and lucky grandfathers to a sweet 5-year-old girl. We're so glad to have him back this morning. Please welcome Rob Eckman.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you very much for using that wonderful little biography, which I wrote. And thank you, Will and Mary. Ease my troubled mind. Fill our hearts with love right now as we are, Will, as things are so unpredictable and so seemingly unmanageable. I'm so happy to be back here. It is something else to be at our Salt Lake City Center with so few people, just the bare essential people here producing this for you at home, and it's amazing to see the great quality and the touching. Everything is just so beautiful and well done. Thank you all very much for sharing it with all of us. Today, as Linda said, my message today is the path made clear, which could also be said, when the vision is clear, the decision is easy. So the world of COVID-19 has changed all of our worlds in really unbelievable ways in an incredibly short period of time. And this principle of faith and how we must rely on it now more than ever has really been on my mind. All of the terrifying world conditions have left me uncertain, sad, suspicious, and frightened. And at the bottom of it all, it has left me feeling completely out of control. Will and Mary's song, was that song written by Will? I just love it. That song says it all, and it brought me to tears as you were singing it, because this is how I feel, and I'm pretty certain I'm not alone. So what can I do to build myself up in these strange days? When I look around me, and all I want is some certainty that everything's going to be okay. All I want is some certainty that we're all going to be okay. In the song, they said this morning, there's the idea of giving up. And as I was hearing that song, what I heard was giving up is another way to say surrender. When I proclaim to the world, I give up, it is a way to I could spiritually translate that into surrender. Surrendering is the key. I must open to divine guidance. And to do that, I must quiet my mind. I must trust God. God goes before you and makes the crooked places straight. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Ernest Holmes said, as you listen to the divine wisdom within you, you will receive your inspiration and guidance. As you speak your word, think your thoughts, or make your affirmations with complete conviction, you will discover that you are using a power that actually is and that actually does respond to you. The spirit within you is God, the infinite source of your intelligence and wisdom and creative power. Now, I was asked to give this message several months ago, and for several months, when I looked at the material provided by Home Office, I really wondered what I was going to say. It wasn't actually until Tuesday of last week that the message began to appear and to build itself right before my eyes. And little did I know that my message was going to become my own lesson. Now, some of you know, and as Linda just introduced me, I enjoy employment at a sweet little old bookshop in Sugar House here in Salt Lake City. I've spent years hosting book signing events of all sizes for all kinds of well-known authors, and I've always loved this job because it offers me all of my favorite work characteristics. I can express myself creatively, I'm surrounded by people and personalities, and of course, I'm surrounded by books. Now, while all of these public events have ceased in the time of COVID, the bookshop is currently closed indefinitely to browsing. We booksellers have really found ourselves quite busy and business quite brisk. But now, instead of all of those qualities of work that I just mentioned that I've always enjoyed, I find myself now spending my days bagging and tagging bags of books to be picked up curbside and shipping books around the country. Now, please, don't misunderstand. I am so grateful to have remained employed during these last months when so many others in my industry have been laid off. But my condition now at work is that I hardly spend a moment doing the job I spent years loving, and it has left me with a small identity crisis professionally. Suddenly, early last week, the bookshop was offered a virtual online event with none other than best-selling legal thriller author John Grisham. Now, because this event was virtual, with none of the usual traps and trimmings of physical events, paper tickets, crowded auditoriums, months to prepare, this whole event, a 1-hour conversation between John Grisham and one of the bookstore owners, was supposed to be a simple and straightforward recording that would then be put on the internet for the fans to enjoy. The interview itself went off without a hitch, but there were problems behind the scenes with putting the interview on the internet, which I had to deal with in order to broadcast the event on time as I'd advertised. Raj, you weren't anywhere in sight. Now it was late in the afternoon, the recording had been done, and all I had to do was get it online. All I had to do was get it online. I was alone in the bookshop. We closed now early. It was after hours. I was alone, and I was trying to figure out these problems. Me, a 53-year-old computer-obtuse man, trying his best, but getting more and more confused and more unhinged. By the time I had the interview posted on the internet, I think, I was mentally drained, and I didn't care about anything but going home, beating my breasts in tears, and drinking some of my favorite wine. I was beat. It was late. I was upset. The whole world was making me crazy. I had no control, and I was obviously not in any spiritual frame of mind. So I locked up the shop, drove straight home, left my car unlocked on the street, walked into the house, and tried to forget my whole day. The next day, just Wednesday morning last, I woke up early. This was the day I had already planned that I would start preparing for this talk. All of the worries of the previous day really had mellowed. I woke early, I meditated, and I began to read. I read Holmes, I read Troward, and I read Chaudron. And I became impressed by one of the notions given me to work with, which I've already stated, which was, God goes before you and makes the crooked places straight. I felt great. When it was time to go to work, I was invigorated and spiritually fed. I showered, I dressed, I walked out the door to drive to work, and then discovered that, yes, indeed, the Jeep had been stolen. First, I reported it to Steve, my husband. And then I reported the vehicle lost to the Salt Lake City Police Department. And I went to work. I was in a daze. The Jeep was gone. I was certainly an absent-minded failure. The police then proceeded to tell me the car thefts in the city are up 37% since March. And that somehow didn't leave me feeling any better. I was certain I would not see that Jeep again for a long, long time. Now at work, I was again terrified of what I was certain was going to be a mountain of work following the John Grisham event. With book sales and customer service issues, it was going to be another day of social distancing and face masks and customers calling. I felt so defeated, so out of control. So I surrendered. I didn't know what else to think or feel. My dear husband, Steve, always my greatest emotional support, but his kind words made no difference either. God goes before you and makes the crooked places straight. That morning, I imagined a long, crooked road, and I imagined it gently becoming straight by some invisible hand. I handed my perception of all of my worries, my job, John Grisham, the Jeep, my sense of disappointment and failure, I handed it all to God, and I went to work. Over the course of our lives, we come to crossroads and forks in our path, choice points of how to proceed. It can be challenging to know which path to follow. We can become overwhelmed by the options, by the uncertainty before us. And it is precisely in these moments that we're invited to deepen our practice and to turn within and listen to the wisdom we find in silence. Ernest Holmes said, "There is within ourselves the answer to every question, the solution to every problem. That spirit makes the demand and will answer that demand from within. When we allow ourselves to wait for the mental storm to die down, be still and know." This is the secret of guidance, as it is of every problem in life. A perturbed mind can never get the correct answer. A stilled mind always can, because the answer comes from the God within. In order to access this wisdom, Ernest Holmes suggests that we court the presence and direct the law. And this is attained by a deep connection with the spirit of life through meditation and creative surrender. Let me say that again, meditation and creative surrender. Now, let's talk for just a second about the meaning of meditation and creative surrender. Meditation is the practice of achieving and balancing the mental, spiritual, physical, and emotional aspects of one's existence through quiet contemplation. Creative surrender could be defined as the pursuit and immersion in activities that really align with one's creative spirit. Quietly being in your own creative, joyful flow. This action also aligns us with divine love and infinite wisdom. All right. Ernest Holmes said, "The one life flowing through me is perfect and complete. I am not apart from it. I am one with it in marvelous unity and freedom, one with the complete whole." So, my little story continues. I went back to work at the bookshop that day, and I poured myself into answering phones and into talking to those people about books. I laughed with my fellow booksellers, and while I did spend some time that morning talking with the law enforcement and insurance company, I can say that I wasn't worrying about the stolen Jeep. I wasn't worrying about any of my other problems in that world either that had me so unfocused. I had given up. I had stepped into faith and creative surrender by immersing myself into a form of my own personal bliss, which is helping people and talking about books. I had surrendered my problems to God. Then, at 4 p.m. that same day, the police department called to say they'd located my stolen Jeep. Steve drove to the scene to discover the interior was completely filthy, smelled of cigarette smoke. The windshield had been broken, but the car was fine. We took the Jeep home, cleaned it carefully, because professional car detailing is still not allowed yet under COVID. And that story is really over. My faith had won over my fear. Now, having courted the divine and seeking the wisdom within, the path is made clear when we trust and have faith in the law. The one will not lead us wrong. It can't. It is always acting according to law. Divine right action and order are always happening. It is the Word of God. So I offer you this call to action. Stop thinking about the difficulties. whatever they are, think about God instead. Focus on the evidence of positive changes that are happening everywhere. Where your attention is, there you are. Empower only what you want to co-create in your life and not the things that you do not want. God with one is a majority. Truth and the path are made clear. In conclusion, I'm going to read you a poem by the great American poet Mary Oliver called Wild Geese. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. And meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. And meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination. Calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over announcing your place in the family of things. Be well, be safe, read lots of books, and have a great day. Thank you very much.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I give. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so
We are so very blessed. Thank you, Rob. That was just wonderful. I want some chapter and verse on some of those things you said. Now is our time of conscious giving, which in our center is one of our spiritual practices, something that we do for our own spiritual health and well-being. We recognize the blessings that have come to us as part of the divine flow of good, and in gratitude we keep that flow going by sharing with our spiritual center so that it might continue to bless us and remind us of the truth of who we are. We thank you all out there for understanding that all of our expenses continue just as they were when we were still meeting together. And we're so appreciative of those of you who have continued to give. And thank you in advance for those of you who will give in the future. So in that spirit of gratitude, I invite you to please bring your gift into your mind, into your heart, and speak together with gratitude our giving blessing. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Filled with gratitude, I let this be, and so it is.
All that I need comes to me. All that I need comes to me. The light of love and grace shines upon my face. All that I need comes to me. I've been set free, I'm released. I've been set free, I'm released. The burden of my past has gone away at last. I've been set free, I'm released. All that I need comes to me. All that I need comes to me. The light of love and grace shines upon my face. All that I need comes to me. All that I need comes to me.
Let's hear some more from Will Baxter and Mary Tebbs.
So in the quarantine, Will and I have done a lot of songwriting. So the songs that you're hearing today and the last time we played together, we have co-written together. So I'm super excited about it. But Will wrote the last one. No, he didn't.
Why? All this sorrow. And try to make a sweet tomorrow. I'm just trying to find my way.
Let go.
Don't think of yesterday. No. Low. I'm feeling go on believing. I'm just trying to find my way.
Let go.
Don't think of yesterday. world's gone crazy. We've got to lean on each other. We're a one human race. Oh, let's face it together. Sisters and brothers, love one another. Sisters and brothers, love one another, and find your way. And find your way. Live, 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 and rise above it. And give, 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 and try to love it, to love. And don't think of yesterday. Let go and try to find your way. Find your way. And find your way. Let's find our way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Will Baxter, Mary Tebbs. Amazing music. How blessed we are. Thanks for joining us. Know that you are loved and missed. I'm excited that we're entertaining ideas of how we can better connect, finding ways to be together. Know that you're just so precious. I mean, your faces come to mind all the time throughout the week. And I wonder how you're doing. I love you being a part of this community, this spiritual family. So have a blessed holiday, a wonderful week. Let's sing our closing song. Together, we can change the world.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I believe it's not too late. Together we can change the world. Lay the puzzle pieces out, find out what it's all about. Together we can change the world. I could start this by myself, but I'm asking for your help. Together we can change the world. Sailing past where it's been charted, roll your sleeves up, let's get started. Together we can change the world. Together we can change the world. With our hands and with our hearts, we can dare to make a start. Together change the world. Together we can change the world. Change your mind and change your life. Set aside our fear and strife. Together we can change the world. When we open up our eyes, then we start to realize together we can change the world. I can start this by myself, Lord, I'm asking for your help. Together we can change the world. Sailing past where it's been charted, roll your sleeves up, let's get started. Together we can change the world. Together we can change the world. Together we can change the world. Together we can change the world.
You've known heartache, and you felt pain at the hands of another. You shouldn't suffer in